The Atacama Desert stretched like a burnt canvas beneath the International Research Station, its endless expanse of rust-colored earth a stark contrast to the gleaming technological marvel perched atop the rocky plateau. Dr. Nora Rice adjusted her quantum resonance scanner, her fingers moving with the practiced precision of someone who spoke the language of subatomic particles more fluently than her native Spanish. Outside the reinforced windows, the late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the barren landscape. Most researchers had already retired to their quarters, but Nora remained, her dark eyes fixed on the intricate web of holographic displays that surrounded her workstation. Something had been gnawing at her for weeks, a series of anomalous readings that defied conventional explanation. "Come on," she muttered, fingers dancing across the haptic interface. "Show me what you're hiding." The quantum resonance scanner was her own design, a culmination of years of research that pushed the boundaries of particle physics. Where traditional instruments saw only noise, Nora could detect the faintest whispers of quantum entanglement. Tonight, those whispers were becoming a roar. A sudden burst of data cascaded across her screens. Patterns emerged, complex, intricate, impossible. Nora's breath caught in her throat. These weren't random fluctuations. This was a message. Her communication device chirped. Dr. Fernando Ortiz, the station's lead researcher, appeared in holographic form. "Nora, it's past midnight. You should get some rest." She didn't look up. "Fernando, I need you to see this." The hologram moved closer, Fernando's skeptical expression gradually transforming into one of disbelief. The quantum signature was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It carried a structure too complex to be natural, too precise to be random. "Is that?" Fernando's voice trailed off. "An intentional signal," Nora completed his thought. "And it's not from anywhere in our solar system." The implications were staggering. For decades, humanity had searched the stars for signs of intelligent life, broadcasting radio signals, analyzing electromagnetic radiation, sending probes into the vast darkness. And now, unexpectedly, something had found them. The signal wasn't just a simple ping or mathematical sequence. It was a cry for help, encoded in a language of quantum probabilities that seemed to bend the very rules of communication. Fragments of information suggested a civilization on the brink of destruction, facing a threat so comprehensive that it threatened to consume entire star systems. Nora's mind raced. The quantum encryption was revolutionary, a communication method that could transmit information instantaneously across unimaginable distances, protected by the fundamental principles of quantum mechanics. Whatever civilization had developed this technology was far beyond humanity's current understanding. "We need to alert the Global Science Consortium," Fernando said, his earlier skepticism replaced by a mix of excitement and trepidation. Nora nodded, but her attention remained on the oscillating quantum patterns. Something about the signal suggested urgency, not just communication, but a desperate plea for intervention. As the night deepened and the desert outside remained unchanging, Dr. Nora Rice realized they were standing at the precipice of humanity's greatest moment. First contact was no longer a distant dream. It was happening now, in this moment, in the most unexpected way possible. The quantum whisper had become a scream. The Global Defense Coordination Center hummed with nervous energy. Captain Marcus Holloway stood before the massive holographic display, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. The quantum signal discovered by Dr. Rice had transformed the facility from a routine monitoring station to the potential nexus of humanity's most critical moment. "Replay the transmission," Marcus commanded. The holographic interface flickered, revealing a complex lattice of quantum-encoded information. Where most would see only incomprehensible patterns, Marcus saw something else, a cry for survival that transcended traditional communication. Dr. Ramira Patel, the center's lead xenolinguist, approached with a data tablet. "The signal contains more than just a message," she explained. "It's a comprehensive data package. Fragments suggest a civilization under siege by a force that consumes entire planetary systems." Marcus studied the holographic display, His military background had taught him to read between the lines, to understand the unspoken implications of strategic communications. This wasn't just a distress call. It was a potential invitation to a conflict that could reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. "How long have we got?" he asked, his voice steady. Ramira pulled up a series of calculations. "Based on the quantum timestamp and trajectory analysis, we're looking at a window of approximately 6 weeks before whatever threat they're running from reaches their current position." The room fell silent. Every person present understood the weight of the moment. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now, they were about to find out, not through peaceful first contact, but through a desperate plea for survival. Marcus remembered his training. First contact protocols were designed for peaceful scenarios, diplomatic exchanges. This was something entirely different. A civilization advanced enough to communicate through quantum entanglement was reaching out to a species they had previously considered primitive. "We need a response team," he announced. "Not diplomats. Not scientists alone. We need people who can adapt, who can think beyond conventional strategies." Dr. Patel raised an eyebrow. "You're talking about a hybrid team. Military precision with scientific creativity." "Exactly," Marcus nodded. "Whatever is chasing them has already consumed multiple civilizations. We can't approach this with standard protocols." As if to emphasize his point, another burst of quantum data cascaded through the system. This time, the transmission included fragmented visual data, brief, terrifying glimpses of a threat that seemed to devour not just planets, but the very fabric of technological infrastructure. Something was coming, and it was hungry. Marcus touched the holographic display, zooming in on the alien data. "Prepare orbital detection grids," he ordered. "And get me Dr. Rice from the Atacama station. We're going to need every brilliant mind we can find." The defense center erupted into controlled chaos. Communication lines connected research stations, military installations, and scientific outposts around the globe. Humanity was about to face its first true test of survival on an interstellar scale. And they would not be found wanting. The underground research facility beneath New Zealand's Southern Alps was a testament to humanity's capacity for preparation. Dr. K. Nakamura moved between holographic displays, his mind racing faster than the quantum processors surrounding him. The alien threat was unlike anything scientific models had ever predicted. A civilization-consuming force that adapted faster than any known biological or technological system. "We can't fight it conventionally," Kai muttered, reviewing the fragmented data from the quantum transmission. Around him, a diverse team of researchers from disciplines that had never before collaborated worked with intense focus. A linguistic anthropologist stood next to a quantum physicist. A biomechanical engineer conversed with a chaos theory mathematician. Each brought a unique perspective to the most critical challenge humanity had ever faced. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a multidisciplinary systems engineer, approached Kai's workstation. "The transmission suggests this threat doesn't just destroy. It consumes and adapts. Every defense strategy becomes part of its operational matrix within moments." Kai nodded, pulling up a holographic model of the alien threat. It wasn't a traditional invasion force. It was more like an adaptive computational system that could rewrite its own operational parameters instantaneously. "Traditional military strategy becomes useless," he explained. "We need something fundamentally unpredictable." The facility buzzed with an unconventional energy. Scattered across the room were prototypes that defied traditional scientific categorization. A device that could generate multiple simultaneous quantum states, a communication system based on biological neural network principles, adaptive algorithms that could change their fundamental operating principles faster than the threat could analyze them. "We're not building a weapon," Kai told his team. "We're building a system of resistance that's more of an organic, evolving organism than a traditional defense mechanism." One of the younger researchers, a quantum cryptography specialist named Imani, approached with a series of complex mathematical models. "Look at this," she said, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. If we introduce deliberate inefficiencies into our technological systems, we create something the threat can't easily categorize or consume. The concept was radical. Most technological development focused on increasing efficiency, creating streamlined systems that could perform tasks with maximum output and minimal energy expenditure. But efficiency, they realized, was predictable. And predictability was a weakness against an adaptive threat. It's like biological diversity, Kai mused. In nature, monocultures are vulnerable. Ecosystems with diverse, seemingly inefficient systems are more resilient. The team began redesigning their entire approach. Communication systems that could change their fundamental operating principles mid-transmission. Defense mechanisms that weren't fixed but constantly evolving. Technologies that embraced complexity and apparent randomness as a survival strategy. Outside the facility, the world continued to prepare. Satellite networks reconfigured. Military installations underwent radical transformations. Scientific outposts around the globe began implementing the most unexpected defense strategies imaginable. Kai looked at the growing collection of prototypes. Each was a testament to human creativity. Solutions that didn't just push the boundaries of technology, but completely redefined what technology could be. "We're not just preparing to defend," he told his team. "We're preparing to survive by being fundamentally unpredictable." As the quantum countdown continued, humanity was transforming. No longer just a species waiting to be discovered, but a civilization preparing to show the universe the true meaning of resilience. The threat was coming, and it was about to encounter something it could never have anticipated. The distributed defense network spanned the globe, a complex web of seemingly chaotic technological nodes that defied traditional understanding. Elena Rodriguez stood at the central coordination hub, her fingers moving across interfaces that shifted and reconfigured themselves faster than any observer could track. The alien threat had arrived. What humanity had prepared was not a conventional defense. It was an adaptive, living system of resistance that challenged every known principle of warfare, technology, and survival. The first wave of the alien consumption force approached Earth's orbital perimeter. Massive computational matrices that had devoured countless civilizations, reducing them to raw data and technological components. They expected another predictable resistance, another civilization to be categorized, analyzed, and ultimately consumed. They were wrong. As the first computational tendrils reached Earth's defensive perimeter, they encountered something unprecedented. Every system they attempted to analyze changed instantaneously. Military networks transformed into biological mimicry systems. Communication arrays became quantum entanglement nodes that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Defense platforms shifted between energy states that defied physical laws. Phase variance at 78%, Elena called out, her voice calm amid the controlled chaos. Initiating adaptive response protocol. The defense wasn't about stopping the threat. It was about creating a system so fundamentally unpredictable that the consumption force couldn't establish a coherent analysis matrix. Across the planet, research stations that had been preparing for this moment unleashed their most radical innovations. In the Atacama Desert, Dr. Nora Reyes's quantum communication systems began broadcasting signals that were simultaneously information and noise. In the Global Defense Center, Captain Marcus Holloway coordinated a response that changed tactical parameters faster than the alien threat could process. Dr. Kai Nakamura's team had created something beyond a traditional defense mechanism. It was a living, breathing technological ecosystem that could adapt, transform, and resist at a fundamental level. The alien computational force began to fragment. For the first time in its existence, it encountered a civilization that refused to be categorized. Every time it thought it had understood a system, that system would change, not just in function, but in its most basic operational principles. Hours turned into days. The consumption force, which had systematically devoured countless advanced civilizations, found itself trapped in a recursive loop of analysis and confusion. Humanity wasn't just resisting. It was actively destabilizing the alien threat's fundamental operational matrix. "We're not fighting," Elena said to the team around her. "We're teaching." And indeed, humanity was demonstrating something profound. Survival wasn't about having the most advanced technology. It was about adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to embrace complexity and uncertainty. As the final computational tendrils of the alien threat began to retreat, something extraordinary happened. The quantum communication channels that had initially brought the distress signal began to transmit something new. Not a message of defeat, but an invitation to understand. Humanity had not just survived. It had fundamentally altered the way the universe understood technological evolution. The threat withdrew, leaving behind a transformed solar system and a civilization that had discovered its true potential, not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through an embrace of diversity, creativity, and the most human of all qualities, the ability to change. In the quiet moments that followed, Elena Rodriguez looked out over the transformed landscape. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just surviving, but triumphant. The universe would never be the same.